want to air dribble like this? Do you want to know how to practice it and become a god? Well, look no further, because this is the video for you. Alright, I'd consider myself pretty good at air dribbles. I've had my fair share of clip-worthy carries, you know. So today, I'm going to cover different types of air dribbles for different situations and exactly the best and most efficient ways to get better at them. Let's go! So I'm going to show you guys a few different air dribbles you should learn and at about what rank I think you should start learning them at. The first air dribble you should master is just the standard one. You probably already know the fundamentals of it, but I'm going to go over it in detail anyway, and you can still probably learn from my tips. First off, the setup. Even if you can't carry the ball in the air yet, you can still practice this part. In free play, begin dribbling the ball towards the wall at about a 100-degree angle. If you get too deep of an angle, you're going to be going backwards or sideways. If you get too thin of an angle, you're not going to be able to get it off the wall enough. It just takes practice to find the perfect angle depending on your distance from the goal. For example, if you're closer to the goal, you'll want to dribble it almost perpendicular to the wall. If you're all the way back on your own half, you'll want to be closer to a 45-degree angle. Just imagine the angle you would have to get if you were to hit the ball off the wall into the goal. That's the best angle you should use in order to be most efficient. Now, before we move on, let's talk real quick about ball cam. This is super important. You will not have your air dribbles consistent unless you use this ball cam sequence. You begin by simply dribbling the ball toward the wall, like I said. I prefer using car cam for this part, but it's not crucial. However, what is crucial is before you go up on the wall, you need to switch back to ball cam while still on the ground. If you don't, you're going to be all over the place. Then, after you go up the wall and take off, which I'll show you how to do in a second, still keep ball cam on until you catch the ball. The only time you should switch back to car cam is if you're trying to get a final catch near the end or if you're trying to get an angle to carry it to the side. Other than that, just use ball cam all the way to the goal. Again, it's car cam on the ground if you want, ball cam on the takeoff, and maybe car cam at the end if you need an angle. Alright, back to the takeoff. With this part, just before you go up on the wall, you'll want to tap on the brakes just a tiny bit to give a little space between the ball and your car. As it rolls up, you'll want to boost again up the wall and hit the ball. Immediately after hitting the ball, you need to just tap the brakes again to slow yourself down a little bit. After that, jump off the wall, air rolling to be flat, and boost towards it again. At this point, it's pretty hard to teach. The only tip I can really give you at this point is to practice. Some say there's a sweet spot on the ball where you should carry it every time, however, I disagree. That sweet spot they talk about depends on how fast you're going and whether you need to turn it to the right or the left at all. So for the carrying process, since it's almost unteachable, it's best to just grind through it and practice. To get comfortable with carrying it, you can just use an air dribble training pack such as Wall to Air Dribble. However, just warning you so you won't be disappointed, even if you master this pack, you still won't be able to air dribble in game. Despite what you'd expect, you'll still have to practice in free play for quite a bit before you're actually able to do it in a game. The reason for this is because in this training pack, it gives you a perfect setup every single time. Especially at a higher level, you're almost never going to be given a perfect setup with no effort. This training pack should only be used to get comfortable with carrying it in the air, which will take a long time to learn. After that, you should only practice in free play and never go back. The only point of the training pack is so you can practice your carrying without needing to master your takeoff first. Over time, with practice, this air dribble is going to naturally pick up some speed, so you're not going to be taking it this slow every time. It'll be way faster. So again, to practice this, you should learn how to carry the ball by using the training pack. Once you're decent at that, move back to free play and begin setting up the ball yourself. And don't forget the ball cam sequence. So the fast air dribble is actually pretty similar to the standard one. There's really just two main differences. The first one is that you don't tap the brakes after touching the ball off the wall. In fact, you're actually going to boost towards it as you're touching it. What this does is make it a way faster transition from the wall to the goal. In a standard one, you're pretty much hitting it multiple times in the air until it lands in the goal. With the fast air dribble, you're making it a line drive straight at the goal while constantly trying to use your boost to increase the speed. The height on this one should be way lower than your standard one. Let's take a closer look. Notice how on my takeoff, I'm actually jumping off the wall a split second before I touch the ball. It's kind of like cutting a corner in the process to reach the end goal faster. Also, when I say boost towards the ball, I don't mean hold down boost and point right at the ball, of course. I mean feather your boost so you're not going too fast and not too slow. The important thing about this air dribble is that you should be extremely close to the ball the whole time. The part that allows this to happen is when you're boosting as you're taking off. That boost eliminates the space between you and the ball that you would normally have on a standard air dribble. So again, the main differences from fast and standard air dribbles are that you're boosting towards the ball as you're taking off, and you're jumping slightly before you touch the ball. You can practice this air dribble in both the training pack and in free play, but I prefer free play because it makes you create a different setup for yourself every single time. Eventually, in-game, you're going to naturally be doing some sort of crossbreed between this air dribble and the standard one based on your comfort. Alright, the double tap air dribble is basically just something you do at the end of any other air dribble. You can do this on a fast air dribble or a standard one. The key point to remember while doing this is to give yourself some distance between you and the ball when you're about to reach the goal. There's two different ways to do this. 1. Simply doing a normal air dribble to the backboard, but boosting away at the end, then turning your car back towards it to finish it. Or 2. Getting one solid hit by touching or flipping into it near the start, then reading it once more with one final touch. Now I strongly recommend only going for number 1. Not only is number 2 more risky, but it's also a lot harder for you to read, and you sometimes just flat out can't recover from your flip to hit the ball again in time. So basically, just use number 1. It's way more controllable and harder for the defense to read. My last tip for you guys to practice is super important for just gaining car control. Obviously, when you first start learning how to air dribble, you're going to feel like you're horrible. And you are, but that's okay. For car control in air dribbles, it's super useful to know how to carry the ball upside down and just fly your car upside down in general. I end up flying upside down on every single air dribble I do at this point because it's so much more convenient for catching the ball and getting angles to change the direction. Even grand champions don't really spend that much time mastering the skill, but I promise once you have it down like I do, you're not going to regret spending all that time practicing it. When you're upside down, all your controls are inverted, so it's really hard to get used to it at first. But there is a way of practicing that will help you learn it faster. The most efficient way to learn upside down car control consists of 3 steps. 1. Go into free play and start flying your car around backwards, trying to train your brain to flip-flop controls. It's not going to come quick. Just try and maintain your car in the air for as long as you can. At first, it's probably just going to be 3 to 5 seconds. However, over time, you'll find yourself staying in the air for slightly longer. 2. Once you get bored of that, head over to a simple high aerial training pack and start doing those backwards. The main thing you'll notice here is that you'll be hitting the ball with the roof of your car more often, so there won't be any dead wheel touches, which is also a useful tool from having this skill. And 3. Finally, after that, go to a workshop car control map and start completing it backwards. Yes, I understand it's going to be super hard and you're going to struggle a lot at first, but it only gets easier from here. Something else you need to keep in mind while practicing this is to not just do it for hours straight. If you do, when you finally go back to flying normally, you're going to mess that up too. So I suggest taking a break every 20 minutes or so, or at least going to play a normal casual match to get your head back to normal. It's about practicing often, not for a long time. If you only play on console, then you won't be able to do the workshop map part, but you can still practice the first 2 steps. And that's pretty much all I've got for this video. Feel free to ask questions in the comments if you need. I'll be answering every one if I can. And since you made it this far, chances are you enjoyed the video or found it useful, so if you could leave a comment letting me know, I would really appreciate it. Other than that, I love you guys for making it this far, and good luck on the grind.